Welcome to Happy Little APIs. You may have just seen some of us. You may look memorable. I have some guests here today. First of all, on my left here, I have Randall Hunt. Randall, tell us what you're doing here.
My name is Randall Hunt. I'm a software engineer and developer evangelist at Amazon Web Services, and I am here because I was vol and drafted.
There you go. I hooked him in. I pulled him in. Nicholas.
Either, whatever floats your boat.
Alrighty.
I can hardly decide myself.
Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm also a technical evangelist here at AWS, and you probably recognize me because I do a lot of the live shows and streams that we do here.
And I just want to point out for people who think that this is not live, we just changed our clothes so that the thumbnail on the YouTube video would look different.
Yep.
So, as a test in the Twitter handle, if you tell me how many fingers to hold up, I'll do it. So, okay. All right. So, it's probably one. It's Boolean, so you go. All right. So, we're going to get started because we have a lot to cover today. This, I know, is a favorite for some people. Richard Boy, you know who you are. We like to do, today we're going to be talking about look ma, no compute. And what this really comes down to is, when we build out applications, we build out architectures, we're talking serverless, but a lot of times we want to make sure that people are thinking smart and thinking about what can the tools do. And obviously we've been covering a lot of API gateways. So let's kind of get into what we've done, and then I'm going to do a little demo, and then we're going to pass it over to Randall, and I don't know what he's going to do. He said, just leave me alone, I'll surprise you. So we'll see how that goes. So if you remember, we've been building this secure weather application where basically you can hit it unsecured or secured, and you get back weather data for the zip code. Real simple, nothing flashy. But you kind of see the ideas we've talked about. We've worked through WAF, we've worked through IAM, we've worked through authorizers, Cognito, host buckets, different things like that. But what we want to concentrate on today is really this area, the API gateway connecting to the weather service. And in reality, behind the pictures, what we're actually doing, and I'll explain why in just a second, is we actually have two routes. We have just the root, which is a GET, and we have a premium route, which is a GET, and the application is aware based on if you're logged in or logged out. And the reason we did that is because with the authorizer that we use, it's kind of an all or nothing. You can't hit it without being authorized in some way. So instead of making people have any kind of account, we just said, look, you'll hit the root when you're just unauthorized, and premium when you're not. Make sense?
Yep.
All right. Good. I'm glad you guys approve because that's what I want. All right. So
I think we're in too deep to not approve.
Exactly. yeah. Nick out. So all right. So okay. So what we want to talk about today is when we look at how these are done as proxies, and that's the default when we set up a SAM project. We get proxy integrations with API gateway, but do we really need to have them as proxies? And I'm going to remind you what a proxy is. And we've talked about this in the first and second episodes. If you remember what a proxy is, basically when the request comes in, there's a wrapper put around it, but the API gateway doesn't do anything to the request. It just pushes it on through. And the same on the response. In fact, it doesn't even do a wrapper on the response. And so it just pushes it right back through.
So the Lambda function gets the entire...
Exactly.
Okay.
All the logic has to be done to the Lambda function. And really, you're not taking advantage of what the API gateway is doing. And so that's what we have here. But, in the illustrious words of my boss's boss, I don't know how many bosses it up, Jay Nair, he says, Lambda functions should transform and not transport. And that's what this is doing, right? Right now, all this is doing. So on the premium, we're doing a little bit of logic to make sure. If you remember a couple episodes back with Bob Kinney, we set it up to say, okay, let's verify, trust but verify. So in our premium, our Lambda is actually doing a little work where we're saying, okay, is this really the person? But in our regular login or our regular unauthenticated one, there's no work being done. All it's doing is transporting. It's taking the request, passing it to DynamoDB, taking the response, and pushing it back to API gateway.
So you telling me we're going to rip it out?
We are going to rip it out. Man, you just stole all my thunder, dude.
I'm sorry.
That's one.
I'll strike
one. No, I'm just kidding. So we'll edit that out. So we're going to rip it out. Okay, so thanks, man. So what we want to do is we want to go ahead and take that out and bypass this, and that becomes an integration. Okay, so let me remind you real quick with an integration. Using VTL, your request can look much different than when it originally came in. So what API Gateway can do is with the VTL, it can make a square look like a triangle. That's metaphorical. So we're clear. I don't want you guys
Challenge accepted.
Wow. Make my Lambda look like a phi or an alpha. Or
exactly. So metaphorically speaking.
Let's quickly define,
please.
VTL, Velocity
Yes.
Templating Language. So VTL harkens back to the days of, Java. And Apache comes out with a templating language that is used in a bunch of different frameworks, everything from Spring to Jira to whatever you want to call it. It's used all over the place in Java projects, and it's a pretty robust templating language with a lot of features. And if you've ever worked in Java, you've probably used it at some point, willingly or unwillingly.
Now I will
Is
tell
that the
you.
Java or the VTL part?
That's the Jira
Yes.
plugin part.
Now I will tell you that words like hearken, that may be your crowd. We don't. That's a
Not around
word,
these parts.
so I was like, we just say it comes from. So anyway, quote that there. All right. So that's the request. The request can be changed, and on the response, it can be changed as well from a square to a circle. Again, metaphorical. So what we're going to look at is when we're done with this, we have a proxy and an integration, and so this is what we're going to build really quick. Now, I will tell you that this is going to be pretty high level in that we're not going to cover every aspect of VTL. We're not going to cover every aspect of API Gateway in the modeling and different things like that. This is going to be a simple example, but what it should do is kind of get the juices flowing on what can be done on API Gateway. So you guys jump in at any time if you see me doing something stupid, because you will. So this is the point where I live code, and you've heard me say this before. I have 2 fingers, one on each hand, and I still fat finger with the best of them. So just stay with me, and
Spelling DynamoDB is the hardest thing in AWS coding.
I can't spell separate, and if you follow my Twitter, my tweets at all, I can't do your without apostrophes or with. I never know when to use it. So, all right, so let's jump in. So we've got our API gateway. This is our weather app. So this is what this looks like in the back end. And what I explained before is you have this root with a get. And really, we don't even need the options. It was just kind of thrown in there because we're not doing any kind of pre-flight check because it's just a simple get. There's no authentication going on. And then if you get further in here, here's some of the other ones that we've got. But the one we want to work with is this guy right here. This is the method on the root resource. Okay? With me? Okay, good. So the first thing we got to do is we're going to go in and we're going to switch this. Right now, it's proxying a Lambda function, okay? So let's back off for a second so you can see that. It tells you right up front, hey, we got a Lambda proxy going on.
Oh, the screen's not up.
Yeah, can we switch over to the screen in the middle? That would be super awesome.
Yep.
Oh, I think you got to switch it
And
off.
your PowerPoint.
Oh,
Yeah.
I got you. Man, I'm glad you guys are here.
Thank
That would have
you
been
for,
a fail.
Quincy NL catching that in the chat. Thank you so much.
That's right. Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So let's just back up to when
Okay.
we first went back to the console.
Alrighty.
So that
Do you guys realize what would have happened if you weren't here?
You would have gone for
Horrible.
that.
I would have just done the whole thing. So, all right.
We need a text to speech for
Yeah, we
chat
do,
that
yeah.
will just yell at you if it's your solo show and you can hear it.
Like in the
built
voice
that.
of my
Yeah,
wife.
yeah,
So, okay, Twitter or Twitch, great. Can you see my screen now? Are we good to go? All right.
Pump up the font size a little, maybe.
Yes, I will do that. Okay, maybe.
Beautiful.
All right.
I think that looks good.
Are we good? Thumbs up. Good. All right. So this is what we're looking at. If you remember, I want to go back. Let's kind of start over what we're talking about. So this is our weather app. And here is the get function that is this is the method on the root resource. Okay, this is the premium one we showed earlier, but this is really what we care about. We don't care about options right now because we're not worrying about pre-flight or anything. So tell me if anybody has any issues.
No, they're all saying thumbs up. Everything's good
All
right
right,
now.
all
Yeah.
right. I don't appreciate thumbs up, but whatever you want to do there. So, okay, so we're going to do Lambda proxy. You see right here where it says Lambda proxy, we want to get rid of that. We want an integration now. So we're actually going to go to our integration, and we're going to change it to an AWS service. And there's obviously different things I can do, HTTP, mock. That's where I would do maybe some options. But what we want is AWS service. The first thing we're going to do is pick our region. And I'm working in US West 2. And then we're going to do our service, which we are going to connect to or integrate with DynamoDB. Not worried about subdomain right now. Now, this is where it's a little tricky. So the HTTP method, any request to Dynamo, whether you're just getting data or adding data, is always a post. Exactly. Because we're posting to the service to do some kind of action. So what we really want to do here is a post. Okay? And then we're going to use an action name. And the particular one we're going to do is just like if you've used the SDK, it's the get item. Okay, that's how we talk to DynamoDB. We're saying, hey, we want this particular item. We need a role to do that with. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and open my IAM. I've already built one. And grab that role real quick here. Open a new link. There we go. So I've got a role that all it does is it says, hey, this particular service can read from DynamoDB. That's all it allows it to do. It's got API gateway, and I want the ARN of that, so I copied that.
ARN is Amazon Resource Number for those of you who don't know it.
Awesome.
It's essentially a unique identifier for this object, in this case the IAM role that we're going to be applying to the gateway.
Or if you're working with CloudFormation, the bane of your existence.
So in this ARN, you'll see that I'm narrowing it right down to that specific role. I'm going to leave pass-through is fine, and I'm going to go ahead and save that. Okay, so this is just warning me, say, hey, you do this, you can't go back. So you got to really want to do it, okay? Now, you may be thinking, but Eric, you're live, you're doing this against the live code. Well, I am and I'm not. So I need to, before this goes into effect, I would need to publish to publish a new version of my API gateway. So I'm not going to break anything in production because I happen to know that there's thousands of people getting my mock weather data right now. So I don't want to break that. All right, so we need to step it up because you have a lot to present. So. All right, so once we've done this, we've got this. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a mapping template. So what the mapping template does is it says, okay, when a request comes in, I need to formulate it so that it makes the right call against the DynamoDB. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a mapping template. It's going to be application JSON, which is pretty much normally what you'll do. When I add this, it's going to... How's it going? Let's try that again.
It's the checkbox on the right.
Yeah, use that one. Okay, thanks. The X? Okay, so the checkbox. So now it's asking me, do I want to secure this? And so yeah, I'm going to take that it's default. And what it says is when there are no templates defined, then do the pass-through. This is what's recommended. Okay, so now I come down here. Now, in this, I can grab a couple things. I have a weather out template that I've built for when we're actually responding, but I can do a method request pass-through. Now, if you look at that, this kind of is like the kitchen sink. Yeah. Okay, so this says, hey, anything passed in, we're going to pass through. This is kind of what's happening anyway. You can also see it building its the context ID. The context ID, you have a lot of control over this. If you want to pass some other things in, you can do that. But this is not what we want, actually. Our template is actually very, very simple, and I'm not going to try to type it because, you know, there it goes. I'm just going to copy and paste it. I cheat.
Hard, yeah,
I cheat, yeah. So, and I have no problem with that. Okay, so... All right, so that's what it looks like. So all this is doing, you've probably seen this, it looks very similar to if I'm making a call to DynamoDB. I give it the table name, I give it the key, and this one just has a hash. It doesn't have a range. My hash is zip code, and then it's a string. And this right here, I'm grabbing, using path, I'm grabbing parameter zip that's getting passed in. So when I save that, there we go. So now, let's see what happens when we test this, okay? Oh, so we have no query string, okay? And that's okay. We need to add the ability to have a query string in here. So we're going to go here, and we're going to say, hey, I'm passing a query string called zip. Okay, do that real quick. Now when I test this, now the reason I didn't have it before is because it's already passed in automatically. But when we're doing an API gateway, we got to be able to add it. So I'm going to add zip equals 80534, good old Northern Colorado. And I'm going to hit test. Okay. Now
I have the lightning bolt. It matches the test right there.
There it is. There
we go.
Now I have an internal server, but luckily for me, I was expecting an internal server error. And here's the reason why. If I scroll all the way to the bottom, it's telling me the output mapping refers to an invalid method response 200. Now we like 200s, but only if it's available. So what we need to do is we need to tell API Gateway, hey, there could be, from the response, there could be a 200. Now notice there's no responses there, so I'm going to add a response. And I'm only going to add a 200. Do you know why?
Because you don't really care about it.
Because my code always works. That's right. Exactly.
The better reason.
You were close, but you were wrong. So, alrighty. So we're going to go back. Now let's take a look, see what happens when we test now. Okay. Still, my zip code's loaded up. I hit test. Looky there. Okay. So I've got this, and this is exactly not how my client's expecting to see it. Okay, but we're getting data, and it was very fast, okay? So the next thing we need to do is we need to modify the response. We've modified the request, okay? We've turned it from a square to a triangle or a surfboard or whatever weirdness you guys were doing earlier. And we're going to modify that. We're going to convert it to whatever. But we need to do the same coming out, okay? So what we can do is we can go back. Now, where that happens, you kind of see where I'm working through this, where the method request comes in, the integration request talks to the service, the response comes back from the service, and the response then goes back to the client, okay? It has the arrows. I probably didn't even need to do that. So the next thing we need to do is we need to fix our integration response, okay? So we've got a 200 here. In that 200, we need to be able to add a mapping as well, and that's an application JSON. Now notice I've got this model that I built. This model matches my data. Okay, so what I can do is I can literally just pop that in. That helps do some validation, different things like that. Now what we're actually going to do for time's sake is I've got it all copied here, but I'll show you what it looks like. We're just going to actually do this here. And I just did it the straight up way. We're going to place this for the moment, but you can see where you can do that. What I'm doing in here, I'll blow this up so y'all can see it. Is that big enough?
Oh my god, I had no idea you could do that in the console.
Oh, yeah, you're right there.
That would have
There
saved
it
me.
is.
Wait, what was the
so-
button? You just made it big enough, and it just...
It's the little arrows. It's 2 arrows. Always teaching. It's my motto.
That would have saved me so
I may
much
be
time.
wrong.
Yeah.
So, okay. All right. So going here, then you can do. So you can see what I'm doing is I'm just literally matching the path to get the data that I need. It's under item, conditions, string, and that's how DynamoDB kicks it out. Because if you remember in our test, it had the string object.
Right.
Okay. So now I'm saying map those to the values that I need. So let's save this. Okay. So we go back to our test. And we're passing in zip code, test, and what did our answer look like? It's down below here. Looky there. Alrighty, so
that's
now
the
we
format,
have
right?
it in the format that our application is expecting. So we could go, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to publish this, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and publish. I can do this, find it. Everything's so blown up, I can't find it. Actually, the word we want is deploy. Okay, and I'm going to deploy. I'm going to go crazy. I'm just going to go right to production.
It's all right. It's Tuesday. It's not Friday.
That's right, exactly.
We have
So
time to-
I'm going to deploy this, okay? So realistically, now I've got two. I use Amplify Console. I've got a staging and a master. And here's my master. Make sure. Yeah, here's my master. So what we're going to do, let's open this up so we can see if there's any errors, because there won't be. I mean, right? Okay, big enough? There we go. So, and actually we're going to do a refresh. Now, I'm not refreshing, obviously, to get the API gateway, but just to make sure we're in place here. I'm going to put in my home, where I used to came from, a 5029 is Phoenix, Arizona. And we have an error. What do you think it is?
Cores.
Cores.
Yep.
Cores is your friend, okay?
Or my friend.
Cores
I
is
feel like
not
it
your
has never
friend.
helped me.
It's the bane of all. Yeah, Cores is, whoa, developers beat their head against the wall with this.
It's protected us against the large number
has.
of...
It has.
Anyway.
No, you're right. It is, but it's a tough one. So this is actually a pretty easy thing to fix. What it's saying is, hey, there's a no access. Okay, I'm pushing too hard. There's a no access control header that needs to be passed from my server. Okay. Now, normally my Lambda did that. When I was in a proxy, my Lambda did that, and all was glorious and great. But now that's not happening. So I need to go back to my API gateway, and I need to add. Boy, this is really big. I need to add in my resources. I need to add that header. Okay. So where do I do that? Well, it's going to take 2 steps. Okay. So in our method response here, we're going to add a header. Okay, and the header is that header that we just Okay, but I can't set a value here. Okay, so what do? Well, the reason I can't set a value here is because I may want that value to come back from my integration. Okay, but now that I've added that in my header mappings, notice it's there now. So I can go in here and I can say, just like in every secure world, I'm going to put a star, because anything should be able to hit it. But what I could realistically do is I could read the header coming in from my Lambda, and I could send what I want to come back out from my Lambda. That's why it's in the integrations, because I can get that value. Okay, so we saved that. So now I got to publish or deploy one more time, and we're going to go to production. And we'll deploy that bad boy. And now I give it just a second, because sometimes it can take a moment here. And then I hit here. Yep, we're going to need to wait a second. And... okay, let's do a refresh on this. There should be no need for that. But
We don't have to redeploy after setting the...
We did.
the change. Oh, we did. Sorry. I
yeah.
looked away for
I
2
did
seconds.
redeploy, and there's our data.
Sweet.
Awesome.
Yep, actually, it's got a broken here. Why? Let me look at that may be a client reason. Let's look and see if I actually got a response from it. Okay, I did. No, I got no data.
Yeah.
85.
So-
Oh,
Do you
because
have no
here's
data
why.
for that zip code in your database?
5029. What? It's not bad data. Okay, Phoenix.
There
There
we
we
go.
go. 70 degrees, and that's a bold-faced lie. So it's like 192 degrees in Phoenix right now. And there you go. So that's a simple overview. Very simple kind of way of I don't need the Lambda anymore. Lambdas are great, and obviously I'm a serverless DA, so I'm a big believer in Lambdas. But I'm also a believer in right tools for the right job. And if you don't need it, and I tell you this, and it may be only milliseconds, but this is going to be faster than adding another connection in. What do you guys think?
I think it's pretty cool. I think it's a happy little API.
What's up? And I hit 130 on the dot. I'm not trying to brag, but there you go. So now what we're going to do, first of all, do we have any questions on this? Is anything coming in on this?
A couple people asking about VTL, which we answered. Coors is not a brewery in Denver.
It is a brewery in Denver.
Someone was asking if
but it's different spelling.
Someone was asking if they could see this, what this looks like as infrastructure as code. But I know that Randall has something along those lines planned for us.
Yep.
The rest he's planning. I
you
have
can do
no
an export.
clue.
I have. I'm not going to demonstrate the SDK export, but I do have the export of the
Excellent.
confirmation.
Okay, yeah. Then I won't steal your thunder.
All right.
Nick stole mine, but it's all right.
Can we pop up your presentation one last time?
Can we? Yeah.
I think you
Glad
have
to.
my little architecture diagram.
Oh, yeah. Let's get back to my presentation. That's right. So the next thing we're going to talk about with Randall's is, so we've done this kind of simple one. So now we're going to get a little more in depth. So let's see what comes up on the screen. And this is not what we're building. This is Let's Get Crazy. We're
As if we haven't been crazy already.
I have to
but
tell you,
no.
it took me probably 10 minutes to build the deck. It probably took me 3 hours to cut out the backgrounds of these pictures.
Are you kidding?
But for me, no, I'm not kidding. Yes, a little bit. No, I have it works well. So yeah, so these are the guys here. This is us, some handsome guys for sure. I won't make you look at that anymore. And now I turn it over to Randall. This is your diagram.
All right, so the genesis of this was you posted in an internal chat channel, hey, anybody want to come on the stream? And I said, oh, sure, I'll do it. And then you said, hey, come up with something fun and interactive for our Twitch viewers.
Which is always a dangerous request for Randall.
Yeah,
But
I heard back from Chris Munns was like, what are you thinking?
So I went into my bat cave and I meditated and I came up with something that is utterly ridiculous and you should never, ever do it in prod. So that's what we're going to do today is we're going to deploy to prod. So the way that this works is we're going to build a little front-end application where you can click somewhere on the screen, and that click is going to generate a Kinesis event. That Kinesis event, or that it's going to create a JSON request to an API gateway that is going to be kind of integrated into Kinesis. That Kinesis put event is going to go into a Kinesis analytics application that is going to look for hotspots where people are clicking on the screen. And then we're going to output the results of that into another Kinesis stream, which we will then read from with no authentication at all because prod, and render that on the screen for people to look at. And this is all CloudFormationed out, so you can deploy it yourself if you want. That took longer than building it. But if we can switch over to my screen, I'm going to tell you how to build this. And it's going to be chaos.
There it is. You got it.
Alrighty, so the first thing that we need to do is build 2 Kinesis streams. We're gonna
you're gonna have to pump up the size. It's just
Yeah, dude,
hard to
come on.
stream. Yep.
We're all old.
We're gonna make one
we go.
the clickstream, and
Harkins
I'm
back.
just gonna call this clickstream West or something.
Randall. How can I criticize you if I can't see your laptop from the other side of the
That's
table?
right.
Yeah, I'll move this so you can.
Oh
see
no,
what
you're good now that you blew it up. Yeah, okay, thank you.
So the way Kinesis works is you have this concept of shards, and shards allow you to ingest up to 1 megabyte of data per second or 1,000 records per second, and emit up to 2 megabytes of data per second. And you can scale the number of shards that you want. There's even an application auto-scaling policy for that. I hope none of you generate more than 1,000 records per second, and if you do, I will throttle you on the API gateway side because I am evil. And you can there's this handy little estimator to tell you how many shards you need. We're not going to go too much into that.
Benevolent
But
dictator.
we'll create this stream. We're going to create an output stream. So we're going to just call this the hotspots stream. And we'll make another single shard thing. And then we're going to need to create a Kinesis data analytics application. This is the fun part, right? So this is just going to be hotspot detector. And I'm not, or what Twitch, if you have a suggestion for what to call this, I will happily rename it. So think about names for things because we're going to be naming a lot of things here. So hotspots detector LOL is what I'm going to call this one.
Oh, no, I think that's perfect.
And delete me later, you insane person. Okay, so how does this work? The first thing that you do is you connect your streaming data. And the way you connect your streaming data is you basically pick the stream, and then you can define the schema yourself, or you can say,
hey, we want to read from the stream and figure out what's going in. And then you have this option of pre-processing things with the Lambda function, but this is a lookmon no compute
That's
episode,
right.
so we're not going to do
That's
anything.
forbidden. Contraband.
That's right.
And then we're going to automatically create the schema, the IAM role. So we're going to discover the schema, and there's nothing in this, so we might need to go and open up IPython here and just do
Gonna have to make that
import
bigger.
Bodo3.
Sorry, I know I'm just.
And I haven't done this code before, so this might not work, but we're just going to say kinesis equals bodo3.client kinesis, and we want to do profile name equals evangelist, because that's the account that I'm in, and profile name is not a supported thing. So bodo3 profile name, researching the docs on the fly. This is normal. Everything is fine.
This is actual development, so.
So we're going to go to Stack Overflow because that's how I do most of my coding. Do you really have to create... Oh, set up default session. That's what we want. So we're going to hop back into IPython here. And if anything comes up in chat where people are trying to tell me how to do this, please tell me because I don't know. So we're going to set up the default session, and this is going to be evangelists. And then we're going to import... and then we're going to say bodo3.
Can you ban
client,
Richard Boyd?
kinesis, and we're going to close our quotes, and we're going to say kinesis equals bodo3 client, and then we're going to say kinesis.put record, and I have no idea how this works, so I'm going to run help. This isn't helpful. I probably should have thought about this beforehand. So put record, stream name, data, partition key. Okay, that's all we need. So we're going to say kinesis.put record, and we're going to say stream name equals, what did I call it? Oh, you know what?
Something lol.
We have to do one other thing.
Hotspot.
Region name
lol.
equals US West 2. And then we're going to say and then we're going to say kinesis client, and then we're going to say
put record.
kinesis.put record. How do we get into this whole shindig? What is it called again? Click stream west.
Oh.
Stream name equals... Okay, what is this, a terminal for ants? Equals click stream west. And I should probably put that in quotes. And I'm going to need to import JSON as well. I forgot about that. So then we're going to do kinesis put record, and partition key is going to be
partition.
ants. Did I spell it wrong?
It's partition.
Partition, yeah. Party on.
How do you spell partition?
Two
IT.
T's.
Oh, did I have it right?
Yeah, no, you had it wrong.
Okay.
IT, one more T. Oh, you're killing me.
Yeah.
One more out there. Stop.
The hardest part about coding
right.
is spelling.
That's right.
Am I really spelling this wrong?
That's parson.
Is this partition?
No, that's parson. There you go.
Okay, good.
Why'd
Okay.
you guys run out of time? We couldn't spell partition.
But for real, that's what happens 90% of the time. So then we're gonna dump a JSON string, and we're just gonna make this string, X is gonna be 100, and Y is gonna be 100, and that's gonna be our schema. And the reason that we're gonna do this, is because I am lazy and I don't want to have to write the schema myself, so I want to make Kinesis discover it for me.
Yeah, that seems
That's
a lot
pretty nifty,
easier.
right?
Yeah,
It's like just throw a bunch of data at it and it'll discover it.
Yeah, so the schema's been discovered, and we have an integer and an
Nice.
integer. That
Wow.
seems right. So we're gonna save.
Seems right. Yeah.
We're gonna save that and continue. And now we have to start the application. That's not gonna end well. So the way that this works is you define a source stream. That source stream is going to be like some window of information that's coming from Kinesis, some records, and you're going to define a destination stream. And then Kinesis has a couple of really cool things, and there's a whole SQL reference guide that has all the special functions. Where are the super fun ones? There's some like cool functions. I don't know where they are in the documentation, but they have things like random cut forest and hotspots. So I like hotspots. I wrote a blog about it a couple years ago if anybody wants to read about it. But this is what we're going to do. We're basically going to create or replace the destination SQL stream, and we're going to take the hotspot result, which is the output of this hotspot results table, and we're going to create a little pump here that will pass in the output of hotspots. And I chose these
numbers arbitrarily. There's a whole document on choosing these numbers. The best thing to do, I have found, is to pick random values in binary search until you start getting the results that you want, because it's a lot easier than trying to understand the eigenvalue properties of hotspot detection. And then all we're going to do is remove the results that are empty.
Okay, when you're saying hotspots, you're talking about where they click on the screen.
Yeah, so you're going to click somewhere on the screen.
This is not some kinesis magic.
Yeah.
That's simpler than that. So it's where they click on the screen.
Think about something like Uber or Lyft or
Right.
City Bike or anything like that. They have to do hotspot detection, and in fact, they may even use Kinesis Analytics to do that. I think we might talk about that in a couple places, where you have to find the geographic coordinates that are correspond, or maybe not even necessarily the geographic coordinates, because it's not just X, Y Cartesian plane stuff. You can do hotspot detection across more fields. It's a little more mathy than I want to get into, but
in short, we're feeding in data in the
right.
form that you want. So let's say we have an XY grid.
I think we have the wrong screen up at the moment.
This
Yep.
laptop.
Sounds like it's me. Yeah.
Perfect.
There
Yeah.
we go.
So we're feeding in data of schema XY. So imagine a grid, and the hotspots in this case are going to be the regions on the grid that are clicked
right.
often, and then those parameters that he mentioned in there that get really mathy are basically just the parameters that constitute what becomes a hotspot. You know, like how tight do you want a spot to be be considered a hotspot? What should the decay be on the time value between those requests, so on and so forth.
And then we're going to test this by sending lots of records. Very efficient, right? So maybe I could do like, does this support Vim mode? Nope.
We're just right up a for loop.
Yeah. I can still do a for loop. No, I'm just going to press enter a bunch of times. I think there's like a repeat magic. So like repeat 100. Nope. Okay. Anyway, this is going to start running, and we're going to get the output of our hotspots. And in the interest of time, I'm not going to wait for this to run. It normally takes like 30 seconds or so. But that's how it works. All we're doing with this last line is we're just saying if the results are empty, I don't want you to throw it out to the stream. The other thing we need to do, what do you mean my changes might not be saved? No, save my changes. Don't be rude.
Can you leave while it's still running the SQL?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to hop back here, and we're going to hop back over to the Kinesis Data Analytics, and we're going to add in the output, because we want to make sure that this... So I can't add the output while it's updating. So stop. Okay. I'll come back to this. The next thing that we need to do is we need to create an IAM policy. So this is all good fun. We're going to need a couple of different things here. So I'm going to create a role. I'm going to make it accessible from API Gateway. And then I'm going to say, I need the ARNs of these two things.
So you're basically giving permission specifically to those two instances of those.
Yeah.
Of
Oh,
those,
cool. This is running now. So
services.
maybe if I put in a bunch of records, we'll get an actual result now. Don't do this, ever. Just do as I say, not as I do. So maybe some of these will
You're
work.
going to be a great dad.
But now that this is done, we can go and we can change and we can add in a destination, and we're going to have the destination be this one, the hotspot stream.
Hotspot.
Hotspot
Hot
stream.
pot would be another interesting stream.
Good idea.
Sounds tasty.
I
Any-
love
another
Hot
time.
Pockets, dude.
Anything from
Four
Twitch?
cheese Hot Pocket?
So yeah, we're just gonna leave this as is because whatever, and we're gonna call this role herpderp, and
Probably need to blow that up one as well.
and we're gonna hop over to this role and we're gonna add a bunch of other things to it,
Wait, you
like
crank up the size a little
Yeah, I
bit.
can
Yeah.
create the size. Yeah.
Kinesis, and in the interest of time and production, no, I shouldn't do that. Sorry.
Admin.
I was going to, but then I thought better of it.
The
So
nuclear option.
we're gonna create our own little policy here.
Write down all these IDs.
Kinesis, and then we're gonna say read and write. So actually, we just want describe stream. We want
get shard iterator, describe stream, listen.
And while you're going through this, I guess I'll just describe why this is important. So in AWS, we follow the principle of least privilege necessary. There's a more distinct or concise way of saying that. Least
privileges, yeah.
Least privilege, yeah. And so essentially your services that you spin up have essentially no privileges to access other services until you explicitly opt in to define those. So we're creating an IAM role that we can assign to our API gateway that will give it explicit permissions to access the other services we have. So for example, the Kinesis stream.
Right.
And the Kinesis stream is the one that talks to Dynamo or the database. So API gateway doesn't need to talk to Dynamo, right?
No.
Correct. So
Well, in this example.
in this example, yeah. But you can essentially create any sort of set of permutations or any permutation of privileges that you can assign to a role, which you can then assign to a service.
And I'm adding read permissions on the wrong streams here, but so I'm just gonna try. Or I'm adding write positions on the stream that should not have write permissions.
And can we go back to full screen since we're showing? Yeah, let's go back to full screen on the display. Great,
All right,
thank
so
you.
I've added in these two ARNs, and I've created this little policy, and we're gonna call this policy herp derp2. Delete me later, you fool. And we're just gonna create the policy, and that's all good, and everything should be working now. So if we go back here, I can search for herp derp. Nope, I have to refresh first. I can search for herp derp. There we go. That's what I want. And I can attach this policy, and all is good and right with the world. And this is the IAM policy that we're going to use, and you can see it has a trust relationship here, and you can edit the trust relationship, and it's basically just giving API Gateway the right to assume a role, this role on API Gateway's behalf. So now we get into the API Gateway side. Now, there are a couple of ways we can do this. The easy way would be to import the API I already created, but we don't like easy, so... any ideas for what we should name the API?
Oh, our Twitch group hasn't helped us at all. So
Twitch,
yeah.
you're killing me. You gotta come up with some names. So, what about you guys?
I'd Herb, Sally.
Sally.
Yeah,
I like
that's
Sally.
what I call everything.
And this is gonna be a regional endpoint, and we're gonna go and we're gonna create it, and then
Nia
we're gonna.
Parallel is just sending faces, so I hope that helps you at all. So
we're gonna create a resource, and this resource is going to be the stream. The stream name, and then we're gonna put this as a variable, and then we're gonna have another resource on this, which is gonna be record, and then we're gonna add a method on record, which is put. And what we're gonna do in this is we're gonna go to the AWS service, and we're gonna select the region, which is US West 2 in this case.
Yep.
And the service is Kinesis. And we don't need a subdomain. The action is put, I think, and I think it's put record. And then we're gonna take that service role that we created a little bit ago and pass that in. And then we're gonna save, and then we have a couple more things that we need to do here. So can I make this smaller again, or no?
That's
yeah,
right
okay. There's a good medium.
All right, and this hide hints button doesn't work. Oh, it does work today. Great, wonderful. That was really
It's
frustrating.
a random.
So we need to take. Oh, the request path is already in there. That's great, and we don't really need any headers or anything. We might need them later, but for now,
We
all
don't know
wanna
we
do-
need them yet.
Yeah. We want to add in a couple of HTTP headers, but let's focus on the mapping template first. So the mapping template is going to look like this. Application/JSON. And yeah, we want to secure this integration. And then I've learned recently from you that I can do this whole shindig.
That's right.
And what we want
Boom.
is this. So what this is going to do is that same record that same thing that I'm calling over here, this Kinesis put record. I'm basically going to take
Up the
stream.
size a little bit.
Oh.
Again. Yeah. Thanks.
I'm going to take the stream name as an input params, and that's going to take the parameter from the URL, and then I'm going to take the data and base64 encode it because that's the response that Kinesis is expecting. And then what I can do here is I can actually say source as a partition key. I could say source context.source IP or something. I don't necessarily need to have a hard-coded one, but for now,
I'll just do like click stream, and we'll click save, and then we'll make this small again.
Randall, how many M's did you use?
Oh man, you're gonna need that later.
Oh crap, you're right. No, I don't need the partition key.
Okay,
it gets
alright.
MD5 mapped
Okay,
and all that
alright.
other good
Okay.
stuff. And that's all we really need to be able to make requests. So we can do this whole shindig where we say enable cores and do it for the whole API because why not? And then I can go deploy and it worked fine in dev. So let's, here, we can test it. I forgot. This is a really cool feature of API Gateway is that I can actually test this.
That's
So
right.
the stream name is going to be click stream west. What is it? What is it again? Click stream west. Is that
I
right?
have no idea.
And the record is going to be X 100 Y
100 also.
100.
You don't want that in the body.
Yes, I do want that in the body.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's the,
Yeah.
it's the param.
And yeah, I think that will work, except it's going to say I need to have a certain authentication type, sending request. Did that work?
I see a
Good.
200.
Yeah, go to the top. What was your response at the top? Internal failure.
Yeah, so it's
That's
an
an editor.
authorization thing.
Oh, gotcha.
Did I add put record into the IAM policy? I might not have done that. So yeah, put records on both of those streams. That's all good. Good. And then going back here, what else did I forget to do?
You didn't add an auth to the endpoint, did you?
I don't think I added an auth to the endpoint. No authorization. It's probably like a header, so it's probably
Okay.
something like I need a
Oh, yeah.
Do you need the
probably.
chorus header?
no.
Or no, because you enabled that in the
No,
console.
I don't need that. I think what I need is the content type header.
Yeah, probably on the request, though, coming in.
Yeah.
So when you do the test, where it said record.
So here?
No, under the test. Go back to the test.
Well, I think I have
Oh,
to
okay.
add it here, right? Is content type, or I might need like X application Amazon
Yeah, something like that.
application Amazon. The good news is I have all of this as code, so I can just go look and see. So this is cloud formation.
You have
So
to
for
blow
those
this
of you,
way up.
yeah, I will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oops. No. Get bigger. How do you make it bigger? And
Control plus. Or Apple plus, same.
nope,
Same.
it doesn't work in VS Code for me.
That usually works for me.
Yeah.
Okay, well it's okay. I have Vim, so
You can go to view, zoom.
we can do this in Vim, which
Okay.
is the editor everyone should use anyway.
That's an opinion.
It's an objective reality.
It's,
All right, so then we're gonna go and we're gonna say vim template.yaml, and over here you see some conditions. This is
Harkens back to the days.
who was it before who was asking about this?
which SQL?
India Pale Ale or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
So India Pale Ale, this is how you would do this as code. So this is the Kinesis stream. This is the IAM role. It's allowing us to do the actions that we want to do. And this is the application itself. So this is saying create or replace the streams. I don't know why that character is there. I hate invisible characters. I'm very weird about that. Then we're going to define the schema. We're going to define the output. And we're going to say, this proxy is going to do something. And we can look at what the correct parameters are. And I don't remember what they are off the top of my head. So the easiest thing in the world to do is to actually just go and deploy the stack. So I can do that. I can go to my GitHub, and I forgot what I called this project, but I think it's something like this. And you can see an example of what it's supposed to look like. And I can say, launch this stack. And I want to launch this in Oregon. This is my first time trying it in not US East 1, so it might not work. Just throwing that out
I
there.
live in Colorado, so I use Oregon. You live in LA.
Yeah.
It's a
He
distance
just
thing.
daily misses
You
New
understand?
York, so this is his way
fair.
of feeling attached
Okay.
by deploying exclusively in US East.
So this really should not take too long to deploy. It should take maybe 30, 40 seconds because we're not making a bunch of complex resources or anything. And it'll give me some nice output. As soon as it's done. In the meantime, what I can do is I can go ahead and open up my index.html. Oops, sorry. my source app.js, and I'm going to be changing these fields because this is what the host application is running. So we've got that, and this should be done by now. No, still not done.
Some of them are completed.
We take it a little easy on the West Coast, sir.
Yeah, this is slower than normal.
Well, we're slow paced, you know. Harkens back to the 1800s.
Harkins.
Hey, I just throw it out there. See if I could use it right.
Gotten that vocabulary going.
My wife would be so thankful to you.
So we're still going. I don't know why we're still going. This stuff.
It's almost there. Everything's creating.
The API gateway is done creating. Oh, there we go. Output complete. Okay, so this is our base URL. So we're going to copy that whole shindig in. Where's the thing? Oops. And then we need the hotspot stream. Oops.
I think with all these slip-ups, we do need just a hot pot mukbang stream here in the studio.
Love Hot Pockets.
And then we need a click stream, which is going to be this one. And Richard Boyd asked me to deploy a CloudFront distro. Luckily, I got you beat. So we're going to do this on localhost.
Yeah,
Start, run, something like that.
we don't have that kind of time, Richard.
How do you run something? And
It's
it
npm start, not npm start run.
npm start?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. It's the first time for everything. Okay, so this is what the JavaScript code looks like, and I am the worst at JavaScript, so we're not gonna spend too much time on it, but I think we got like 4 more minutes here.
That's strategically why Randall's terminal or his VS Code font size is so small,
Yeah.
so no one can actually see it.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting the font size is so small. Why don't we just like see if this works?
All right.
So we're gonna pop open the console because I don't think it's actually gonna work.
You're gonna have to make that a little bigger.
At least you're positive about it. I think that's
So I'm clicking randomly in a bunch of different places.
I see it getting sent.
So again, we're trying to generate events by clicking inside of the canvas, and before where we were trying to just...
Oh, do you know why it's not working? Do you see this thing that says start application URL? And do you see the comment there that says yes, start application? So pro tip, go here and click start. Do this first. And I ignored my own
As I
instructions.
say, yeah, I remember reading that in there.
So we're gonna refresh and we're gonna try again, and hopefully we'll be able to draw some stuff.
Fave icon isn't there. Are you getting stuff back down?
Is he getting any of these?
Are you able to check your stream?
Can you check the...
We could hop over to the stream, and it takes a little while to start, so it takes 30 to 90 seconds to start. In the meantime, let's just deploy this to prod without having actually tested it. I think that sounds like a great idea. Does everyone
like
agree?
it. Yeah.
All right, so
Nothing else I'd rather do to pass the time, right?
we're just gonna say, how do you do build npm build?
Same. Oh, I do same build, but yeah.
How do vim package.json? I really did write all this code.
You gotta make it bigger, sorry. I know I keep...
I really did. Yeah, it's npm run build.
That's all I'm here for, right? It's
Yeah.
just to tell you to make your code
Yeah.
bigger.
All right, and then we're gonna do AWS Oh, sorry. I need to export AWS default profile, and then I want to do AWS S3 CP, the index to there, and I should probably actually sync the whole distribution thing. Does that seem right? That seems right. If not,
Yep.
we're
We'll
screwed.
find out pretty
You ever heard of
shortly.
Amplified Console?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna teach you Amplified Console.
Yeah, no, I don't believe in JavaScript. So
Amplified Console. Well,
if we go to twitch.goaws.com,
that seems totally logical.
and then we shift refresh, and then we shift refresh. Oh no, it's cached. And then we
You have to
do
bust the cache.
create cache invalidation on.
There's nobody after us.
CloudFront.
Time-wise. Unless they come in and kick us out.
All right, so we're gonna go to CloudFront and we're gonna invalidate one of these caches. I think it's this one. And we're gonna do invalidations, create invalidations. is it just slash star
Yes,
for everything?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Invalidate. And that'll run, and then we can refresh again. Waha! So if you go here to this web page, so somebody post that in chat.
Twitch.code. Got it.
And then we randomly click on this thing.
Audience, we're gonna need your help in just a second. Twitch
Just
chat,
click,
please.
click in like the top left corner, and
We need your help to get these clicks going to hopefully get us a hotspot.
Oh,
There we go.
yeah,
All right,
hotspot's
the
happening.
final hour, literally in the last minute.
the funny thing was like I was coding this on the plane because I had someone review my JavaScript and they were like, "LOL, you don't know how to use promises." So, yeah, and you can see all the traffic and Kinesis, and this is like the one we literally just deployed. So this is not some pre-deployed thing. And if you want to see the code, it's just on my GitHub, and you can read more about it. But Nick and I have to fly you to New York and me to Los Angeles. Nick's doing we're both doing workshops in New York on Thursday.
So I have to clean up the studio by myself, is basically what he's saying. So can we go back to my screen for a moment? Randall, Nick, I really appreciate you guys being here. It was fun. Nick, great app. I wanted to just kind of wrap up and talk about what's coming up. We've handled some questions here. So in 2 weeks on the 23rd, so 2 weeks, 1, 2, 3, yeah. So 2 weeks on the 23rd, we're doing Ask the Expert. It's going to be live. It's going to be right here from this studio. You can join us. All right. We just have
come
like
back.
20
I'll be
guys
here.
standing
I'm just gonna
in
go
here.
sleep on the couch over
Yeah,
there.
we're gonna have people like George Mao. We're gonna have people like Bob Kinney, Alan Tan, myself, and really what you're gonna be doing over the next, or what you're gonna see over the next couple of weeks is I'm gonna be asking for questions you want answered. Stump the chump. Give us some hard ones. And so we'll try to answer those. I'll be perusing some of the forums and things like that and finding some of the hard questions that people are struggling with the API Gateway. And we'll all be in here. We'll be having fun, and we answer the questions. Again, that's the 23rd, 1 p.m. Again, here in Pacific time. Guys, I appreciate your time, guys and gals out there. Thank you again for joining us at Happy Little APIs. And I know you guys got to get on a plane, so hasta la vista.
Thanks.
Bye,
See you
everybody.
around.
Thanks for the 30-second demo. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. You were fine, dude.